All right, what is going on? How y'all doing out there in Atlanta, Bird Gang, and also on YouTube and Uncle Steve's Lounge? How's it going out there on a Monday, May 24th? It is hot. First day over 90 degrees. You know, I kind of thought that I would have been able to start this Monday off and talk about the Hawks win. You go to YouTube on Uncle Steve's Lounge. We're going to start talking about local things other than uh, the Falcons, but I thought I would be able to open up with that. But today, instead of starting with how the Braves outscored Pittsburgh by 20 runs over the weekend, instead of talking about that great teardrop that Trae Young dropped on the Knicks, we talking about Julio Jones. Julio messing around and going to be traded here. Traded from here, I should say. How's it going, y'all? This is Steve. This is your uncle. And if y'all look over there to the right of me, y'all should see a very familiar face. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, my brother? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Sure I can hear you. What's going on, my brother?
Doing great, man. How's it going?
I'm almost wondering, should I be anonymous? So you should you be? I'll go put it like this. My brother is on the lam, but he is with us, and we appreciate that. And anytime he has time to chop it up with us, we want to get it.
Man,
So,
I feel like a fugitive. I feel like a fugitive, Steve.
Hey man, I don't know what you're doing, man. Look. Look, before they decide to possibly cut this because of that, let's get to the real nitty gritty, man. I'm sure you woke up this morning, and I usually don't even watch Undisputed, keeping it real. I watch a little bit of First Take or the replay of First Take. I'm not a big Skip Bayless guy. I do like Shannon Sharp because he gives a perspective, but I don't know, man. I know we need to talk about the Julio thing, but I'm gonna bring an aspect up that I know a lot of people aren't talking about. Do you think he kind of set Jet up a little bit? I'm hearing people saying, "Nah, that was staged." I'm not feeling that. What are your thoughts on that? The call itself.
My thoughts on that, I'm not sure, but honestly, I'm thinking, being that Shannon was a former player and now he's on TV, I'm thinking that Shannon had to give him some kind of heads up, like, hey, who, we're gonna call you. You probably be on air. I'm gonna give Shannon the benefit of the doubt, especially being an ex-player. That's the way I'm gonna go with it, man. So I'm gonna assume he gave him some kind of heads up.
I hope he did, because if he didn't, and the only reason I say maybe he didn't, because if you listen to and I'm sure you've seen it, you go back a couple of times, the young lady kind of comes in the middle of the thing and says, "Hey, did y'all tell him he's live?" And then at the very end, again, Shannon was just talking player to player. And at the very end, he said, "All right, man, I'm going, you live on TV, man." So I kind of am not sure about that. So there's a part of me, I don't know. I think he kind of set him up. And I don't think purposely, let's make it clear. I think he was calling himself, let me show Skip that I can just call these players and get a response.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it was kind of sabotage to me, in my opinion.
I hope not, man. I hope Shannon wouldn't do that, because if he did, that's really putting your friendship on the line with Julio. That's really putting your journalistic integrity on the line as far as yourself goes, as far as the network goes, as far as the show goes. And nobody would want to tell Shannon anything anymore. So that's why I say I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, because he's been a player. He often talks in the shoes of players, and he from Georgia. We don't do stuff like that.
Yeah. I know he's a good Georgia boy and everything. So I want to believe the best. So I just wanted to park that in that spot right there for a minute, because I thought that was it. So let's get to it, man. Talk to me, brother. I'm gonna hear from everybody. I see you, Trey. I'm sorry, I keep calling you Trey. I'm gonna tell you why I keep calling you Trey, because it's Dre Trice, and I keep trying to compound them in. Dre, I see you, brother. Christian, I see you. Daniel, RJ, Rick King, what's going on? I see you, Lisa. We're going to get to the comments in a second, but I got to pick my buddy's brain here. What is your overall thought when you heard the words, "I'm out of here," from the source itself?
I wasn't surprised, Steve. I was surprised to hear it on national TV, but I was not surprised. I'm not trying to pat my own self on the back here, but if anybody goes and looks at my last few videos and my last few posts when Facebook would allow me to be in the group and on Facebook, I've been insinuating that for quite some time. Like, hey, what's going on here? And Steve, in our brothers' chats, I've been saying, hey, there's a disconnect with Julio and the Falcons. Something ain't right. Just the other day, I said, look, this don't look good. It don't feel good. It don't taste good. It don't smell good. Something is up, man. There's a disconnect with Julio and the Falcons. So I wasn't surprised, bro.
And when you look at, I know he made a little bit. If the picture that's in between us, I know people made a big deal out of that, and Julio kind of debunked that on the phone. In between us, it's a picture of him, the Dallas picture, which is kind of interesting because some people were acting like that was somebody saying, "Oh, that's from 2 years ago. That's a year ago." He kind of validated that he wore it, but it didn't mean anything, and validated that he's not going to the Cowboys. So if he can get the Cowboys and the Saints off his wish list, I actually don't care where he goes after that. But so now the real questions begin. What's the story? Does Julio ride out off into the sunset in Atlanta fans' eyes, or does it look like Julio owes us a little bit of loyalty down the stretch? I'm just saying, I know what I think, and I'm going to tell you in a second, but I want to hear what you think about that. What is Julio's, how he did it at the end?
To answer your first question, I honestly don't think Julio owes us anything.
Okay.
At the end of the day, this is a business. At the end of the day, I've seen a lot of what I have been able to see online. A lot of people are bringing up the fact that the Falcons gave him a bonus. They gave him a new contract when he had 3 years left. But in the same token, that was something the franchise decided to do. They knew how valuable he was to the team on the field and also off the field. The Falcons had the option, the authority, the fortitude, and I'm putting this bluntly just to say, either Julio, you play out your contract, or you can kick rocks. Nobody forced Atlanta Falcons to give Julio a new contract. That was a decision that the front office made themselves. Like I said, they could have cut him. They could have let him go. If he decided he was going to play hardball and not show up for camp, okay, buddy, well, we're going to fine you. So that's a decision that the franchise made. I honestly wish that the news could have been delivered better. But at the same time, Steve, maybe we just need to get slapped in the face. We've been going back and forth. Or, hey, this ain't real. This ain't true. This ain't real. This ain't true. Well, you heard it from the man himself. And I do want to point this out. I wish the news would have been delivered better, but I want everybody to know. I know a lot of people are feeling some kind of way. He didn't say nothing disrespectful to our team, about our team, nobody on our team. He didn't disrespect us. All he said is, "I'm out of here. I'm out of there."
I think you brought up a good point, and I want to give 100% credit to Lisa Shepard, who I was talking back and forth with too. You brought up a timeline. If you think about the last 3 to 4 seasons, Julio went through the, hey, I need a little extra bonus money in 18. He went to the, gotta have a new contract that shows I'm the most expensive player in the league in 19. 20, he was quiet because everybody was quiet. It was COVID. Nobody's probably making a lot of fuss. And start this year in this season, allegedly, I was listening to 92.9 The Game today, and they had on Albert Breer from Monday Morning Quarterback. And he says that Julio asked for the trade early, and they weren't able to find, the right trade at that time because people didn't want to pay the price that Atlanta was asking. So when you start thinking about that, Toddy, the last 3 to 4 years, for all the things that we've been saying about Julio publicly, doesn't rock the boat, doesn't mess up anything, he doesn't talk bad about his teammates. He might be guilty of having loose earrings at Lake Lanier, but other than that, Julio has not done anything to rock the boat. Now you finally hear the first negativity out of Julio in 11 years. I'm out of here. I'm with you. I don't think you give him a hard time. I think you see somebody that wants to leave. You see somebody who is truly an Atlanta Falcon. No other team is going to be able to claim him. It's not a Deion Sanders situation where Deion left and went to better, greener pastures in Frisco and Dallas. This is ours. He's ours. He can't deny. He going to Canton. Yeah, you can take somebody else's jersey in there all you want to, but you're ours. I want the folks to realize it's not personal. And we move on. We moved on from Roddy. We moved on from Deion Sanders. We moved on from Mike Vick. We moved on to Devonta Freeman. We moved on from Tevin Coleman. And it keeps going. We need to learn that, hey, maybe that might make some opportunities. I know I'm long-winded, but I didn't mean to go ahead.
I totally agree with you, Steve. At the end of the day, Julio made his bones in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We drafted him. He gained his reputation in Atlanta. He signed numerous records in Atlanta. He made one of the best catches in Super Bowl history that we've ever seen in Atlanta.
Oh, that would be a historic catch if we won. If we won, that'd be a top 10 catch of all time.
I would say top 3.
Yeah.
You solidify a Super Bowl with it.
Yeah.
You're right. When he goes to Canton, he's going to be known as a Atlanta Falcon at the end of the day. That's what everybody going to remember the Jet as, Atlanta, number 11, Julio. That's our guy. Hey, we raised him, and pretty much he in a sense, he went to college, he got his degree, and now he about to move out and get a job elsewhere. I wish him well. I don't have, at this point, long as he don't start mudslinging the Falcons, I wish him well. I'm not upset. I don't have any disdain for him at all. I wish him well. That's his choice, and he can make that choice. Just like the Falcons could say, you know what, you on the contract. We don't have to trade you.
I've told people this earlier, and they didn't believe me when I said Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, as much as they respect and realize the talent of Julio, and let's say Matt. Listen, it wasn't a done deal with Matt until right before the end of right before the season was started. You remember, they didn't commit to anybody. Now, when they did the restructure, then they had to jump on board with Matt. But from Julio's standpoint, there was never a, oh yeah, Julio's part of the plan. Oh yeah, Julio's going to be this. They were very careful with their words when they talked about Julio. Let's answer some questions over here, Toddy. And I know we're going to get some phone calls. 1-877-747-2346. Brother King says they said teams not really trying to give up nothing for him. I did hear that from Albert Breer today, saying that people. What are you, if you're the general manager on the other side, Tidy? What if I'm coming to you and I say, what do you want to give up for Julio? What do you say right now? And I know it kind of depends on which team you are. Let's say you're New England.
If I'm okay. Now that the cat is out the bag, if I'm New England, if I'm the Patriots, if I'm Bill Belichick talking to Fontenot, Mr. Fontenot, 32 years old, hobbling.
Yeah.
I gotta take $15 million worth of salary for a 32-year-old wide receiver who uncertain his injury history. I will give you a 3rd rounder, 4th rounder, and a 6th rounder. That's my first offer.
And these delusions of grandeur that people are having about 2 first rounders and one, dude, you are not getting. You probably not going to get a first rounder unless you're a team that's desperate. See, Baltimore maybe, right. But if unless you're that team, folks, the Julio's value isn't what it was 2 years ago. And the same people are saying, listen, if Julio was getting paid $10, $11 million, anybody will take that.
Right.
Julio's getting excess of $20 million. And you're talking about you going to take on some of his salary with the thought that he might not be there 4 to 5 games a year? You can't do that. So I don't know. We got I didn't even pay attention. We got one caller coming in. How you caller? How you doing? You with Steve and Tidy here in Atlanta Bird Gang and Uncle Steve's Sports Lounge. Talk to me. Identify yourself.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Steve? I'm Dave, man.
Hey, Dave. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. How you guys doing?
Man, we are hanging in there, man. I'm on probation. Got one of my probation workers out here picking up trash on the side. He with me right quick. I'm trying to.
I just want to say this, man. I'm kind of tired of this fan base with the business stuff they try to call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard Julio's interview with Shannon Sharp.
Right.
Earlier today.
Right.
The guy didn't slander the organization at all. Okay. He just took me to these out of there. And the concept that I put that in, if he knows he's going to be moved and he's saying, you know what, I'm out of there, he probably already got pissed off already, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, you go on these Falcons concerts other places, they're trying to drum up some nonsense, trying to start some trouble, talking about the guy, you know, just kicking dirt on the man on the way out the door. And that's not fair, man. I mean,
I think those are. Listen, we have David. We have those fans sometimes, and Toddy and I battle them constantly. You're gonna have those fans that will say, just like Mike Vick, that Julio could do no wrong. Julio can miss 8 games, get paid $20+ million, and nobody will find fault in him. The difference between folks like us, and I don't want to speak for you too much, Tidy, but you feel me. We're going to hold Matt Ryan accountable. We're going to hold Julio Jones accountable. We're going to hold Grady Jarrett accountable. So it's not slander with us. It's a matter of some of these fans getting out of their fandom and realizing that, hey.
Right, exactly. Because you know what comes after that.
Of course.
And this world is ugly enough, if you know what I'm saying.
Of course. No. Put it.
I don't want to go with this.
Put it out there, because I'm going to put it out there. Now you're going to have, we kept the Great White Hope, and we got rid of Julio Jones.
Right.
I did I not predict this, Tidy? I said, we're going to have those folks that's going to go back to Mike Vick and saying how we chose that over there. Those are what you call fans with blinders. They're not looking at the big picture.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, look, man, I have no issues with Julio. Never did, never will, man. You know, I spoke to you before, and I said to you, look, man, I'm not married to these players anymore, man. You know what I mean? Because that's not going to get it done, man. You know, players come and go. It's a business, and that's just the way it's going to be. But let's not act like the Falcons, new regime's hands are not dirty in there.
Right.
They have created this monster, so to speak, to be honest with you, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they definitely helped create this. These you take calls on everybody. That's a lie, guys. You have to take calls on that, man. Stop. Come on. Maybe Green Jarrett. I doubt that. When you're taking a call on Deion Jones, come on, stop. That's the one part that I think. Of course, they're not going to tell us their game play. They're not supposed to, but I just think there's some dishonesty going on a little bit here.
Right.
Right. I'm just calling just to say to you that I love the content, brother. Listen to you every Sunday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, listen to you now. I listen to you on draft day. I was definitely on that. And I just love the content, man. I love where you're coming from. And I like your question the other day, the other stream about the important players other than Julio and Matt. That was such a good question.
Okay, what was your response? Because I don't know if I got it or not. So what was your response?
I got to deal with the unit, man. It's hard to get one player. So I got to deal with the offensive line, man.
Okay.
The entire team. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if they can run the football. That'll open up a lot of different things. I'm not with this pass the ball over the lot fast. I'm not with the percentage of football stuff. Run the football, you do your play action pass, and you go from there. You keep the defense off the field, and you try to win time of possession every week.
If you don't have balance, my friend, if you don't have balance on the line, as far as being able to run and pass protect, which is you are absolutely right with the offensive line, you're not going to have anything. I'm going to throw a bonus question at you real quick before we drop you off. You have, Dave, we asked yesterday. I got some really good answers with that. Do you have a football hype song that's your Sunday morning getting ready to watch the game, whether you're going there or not? What is Dave throwing his either car going to the game or just listen to just to get hype?
Wow. I'm always nervous before a game. You know what I mean? And I'm not even playing. So I don't really have a song, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, look.
I'm just locked in on, these guys going to get it done this week. How they going to get it done? But it's kind of, that's what they're going to make from the previous week, stuff like that.
Hey, brother, we're not going to hold it against you, brother. We glad to have you around. And I promise you, me and my brother over here, we're going to try to get some stuff started this year to get a little bit more fan interaction with folks like yourself. So I appreciate the compliments, man, brother, and you have a great night, okay?
You too, brother.
Thank you, sir. All right. We off and running, brother. I apologize for I'm kind of used to doing a lot of yapping. I look, because I'll tell you I'm mess with Toddy, because see, look, I have Propel water. I don't have red cups and stuff like that.
I didn't get an opportunity to get my cup and my cigar. I see some people in the comments ask me about my cigar.
Exactly. And matter of fact, let's run through the comments real quick because I don't want some of these folks to think we're not paying attention to them. King, I think I went to Kings already. Kiefrey Russell says, I think so. Shannon was playing. It wasn't serious. And I think he's talking about when we were saying whether the conversation was serious or not. I don't know. Maybe I just have a different perspective on that. I just don't think I don't know. Maybe it was set up. We'll find out, because I know either way the Falcons organization is probably not happy about that
at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. Dre says, Steve, I think I said it was staged and scripted. It looks like he was reading from a cue. Okay. Daniel says Terrell Owens had something to do with Julio. Maybe, and I know Terrell is on that show quite a bit. What's going on, Armand? How you doing, sir? David says, Wilt. Nakeem says, not surprised. We don't have the money to keep him. Christian Graham says, Julio tired of the coaching changes coming through, especially he had 3 different head coaches, Mike Smith, Dan Quinn, Raheem Morris. Dre says, Julio has been ticked off since the Super Bowl. Lisa says, I don't recall Julio ever wearing another team gear, even during the offseason. He knew it would cause a lot of chatter. Let's go to Reggie. Say, I'm a Falcon fan, not a fan of any player to that level. I'm about the logo. Our brother John Harris says, I still think there is more to this story, even to the point of doubting that he was talking to Julio. I'm hearing that Julio wanted to be traded in October. Brother Orion says the man wants to win, and he feels like he can't with this team because the last few years we've been All we've been doing is building around Matt Ryan, and the outcome is very disappointing. I see you, Ryan. I see you, Isaiah. I see you, Stephen. I'm trying to catch up with these comments because it's a lot of y'all, and we appreciate y'all coming in with us. Robert Kaysen says, I don't see Julio's market value very high with his injuries. And Brother Eddie says, happy days are here. His happy days are here again, battling a million right now. Eddie, I talked about you yesterday. And brother, I told you before, I actually enjoy my interaction with you, Eddie. You ain't nothing but good with me, brother. And I know he's been on this pipe for a long time. So I got to give Eddie his credit. He did call this. Caller, how you doing? This is Steve and Toddy here in Atlanta Bird Gang and Uncle Steve's Lounge. Talk to us. I know who that is. you know who that is, right?
Yeah. J.I.
All right, so give me the scale down version of what you think happened there, John.
I don't know if anything happened.
Well,
I really don't know if anything happened because we are. Look here, we have left Earth and gone all the way to the end of the galaxy already, and we don't even know how we got there. Now, I'm waiting. I got to wait because this was just too cryptic. This was just too short. These are just little blurbs or whatever. And I just posted an article about the fact that Shannon Sharp might be in some trouble because he didn't let Julio Jones know that he was being recorded and that he was going to be on live. So it's just a whole bunch of mess going on around this thing. The guy he got the money. I really don't know, Steve. I really don't know.
So do you? Because Toddy said something interesting. He thought it might have been teed up. Do you think it was teed up? You think they staged that?
Steve, I don't know. I mean, look, the way that Julio has always conducted his business, this makes me suspicious about it. This just makes me a little suspicious about it. And as days go along, we'll find out whether it's true or false. Because the way that Julio is, you put a microphone in front of him, you put the camera on him, he talks to you. Okay? These people that I was here, Julio, oh no, this ain't him. I get him. And then his voice come on the phone. Hello? And just starts talking. Man, no. Now, I don't know. And, Patty and I had a real good conversation Saturday.
I was watching, y'all.
And, we had good fun behind them,
Right.
So this, I don't know, Steve. It may turn out to be right, but then again, I don't know. And with these legal questions coming up, some truth's going to have to come real soon about what actually took place. But your boys over there at 92.9 and all that, it was get the Brillo pad and scrub Julio number off of the dome and take his locker down. He was a punk. He don't know. He just all kind of crazy. So they don't went all the way. So I don't know. See, I do not know.
I agree with you, Toddy. While Jay's on the phone, I'm gonna let you answer this question right here. Randy Wheeler says, now it's time for Ryan to spread the ball around more and more. If we go back to the 2016 season, he shared love with all ball catchers. And that was one of the things I think I was mentioning for both of y'all, or the Toddy first. Those games that Julio missed near the end of the 2016 season. I was talking about the Rams, the 49ers, where we scored just about 50 in both of those games. It seemed like without him, every option open. And if you look last year, a little bit, not a lot, but even at Tampa Bay, we didn't have problems scoring. We just gave up a lot of points. Is there validity to say that Tidy, is there validity to say that maybe with Julio gone, the opportunities open up for Ridley, Gage, Pitts, Hurst, or whoever's in the backfield?
Without a doubt. Of course, Matt Ryan is going to have a major adjustment period that he's going to have to familiarize himself with because, his number one target, his tag team partner in crime will presumably no longer be there available to him. I'm going to surprise a lot of people with this next comment. I'm about to throw the dog a bone with Matt Ryan. In somewhat Matt Ryan's defense, I think a lot of us have to keep in mind and understand that when the players are called, if Julio's the number one read, the number one option, he's the number one read. He's the number one option. That's who the play. If the play is designed to get Julio open and throw him the ball, that's what the quarterback is supposed to do. I remember a very, 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 very key quote that Mr. Kyle Shanahan said when he was criticized. I think Julio had 136 receptions that season. I remember vividly Kyle saying, look, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is the gist of what he said. Look, that's Julio Jones. If I could throw the ball to him every play, I'm going to throw the ball to him every play. So I think when those plays come in, if Julio's the number one read, that's who the quarterback's going to go to. And let's be honest, if we was Matt Ryan and you had Julio Jones, who you going to throw to most of the time? I know who I'm going to throw to the most of the time. It's definitely going to be Julio.
I mean, it makes sense. Listen, the only good thing about having a new staff during this transition of Julio is maybe it can stop the dependence. I know, and for some reason, I don't know how Jay got disconnected, but you come back in the comment section if you want to, Jay. But now you're going to be forced to stop staring Julio down, to stop trying double team, to make a pass happen with a double team. Does Calvin deserve a double team? Probably so. He's almost to that level now, but it will be different. It's not going to be the same with the Jet not being out there. It's really not. So when you start thinking about it, this could be a blessing in disguise. You lose salary, but you gain opportunity. Don't you think, from what we saw last year, Toddy, Gage was ready to eat. I'm not ready to call him Sanu, but for the most part, Gage was pretty solid. Arguably next to Aluakon, might have been the most improved player on the team. If you think about it. Blake, we didn't get enough run from him, but he's obviously going to get some run now. We got a sampling of Zacchaeus, and there's one thing he can do. He fit in that Taylor Gabriel mode where he can stretch the field, and he actually got some opportunities last year. Mm-hmm. And now the I've never asked you this question. While we talk about wide receivers, give me your overall thing on the kid from Arizona State, Darby. I just want to see out of curiosity what you think, Frank Darby.
Well, he gotta get on the field for me first off. He gotta get on the field. It's just like Kyle Pitts. I know we coined him a generational talent, but he haven't even caught 2 passes in the game yet. And you look at it, you just spoke about Russell Gage. He was a 6th round draft pick, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Hey, he got on the field. He proved himself worthy. Now, I'm quite sure if they redrafted his draft class, he wouldn't be sitting in that draft room until the 6th round. You're talking about a 2nd or third round draft pick. So no matter where you fall at in the draft, I'm not going to throw you a lot of roses until you prove yourself on the field.
I'm looking at a couple of comments. Markeith comes in. First, let me go back. Eddie says, Undisputed always goes over every single thing that they're going to go over live in the show. Plus, it's a delay. They knew. Markeith, how you doing, brother? Says, that definitely was Julio. I doubt Shannon gets in trouble. That's because Shannon, he was talking about the spreading of the ball, saying, Shanahan's offense is made to spread the ball around. But you know, I think with Arthur Smith, if you look at what Tannehill, think of what he did for Tannehill. Tannehill was about a season away from becoming Josh Rosen. He had a running game in place that took the pressure off of Tannehill. Now, am I saying Mike Davis is Derrick Henry? No. But I am saying I think part of the success in Arthur Smith's offense is going to depend on how much we get in that running game. And I'm trying to think, who was I talking to when we were talking about the running averages? If we can get 100 to 125 yards a game, I think that alone will open things up for Matt. And now that you have Kyle Pitts, who I'm assuming because becomes your second target, right? With Julio leaving, you can have some semblance of an offense like what's his name? What's the kid's name? Kyle Shanahan. You can have some semblance of offense. The only thing I don't like is folks, let the Kyle Shanahan stuff go. This is Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith has this offense. I could care less anymore about Kyle Shanahan unless we play him. And we're going to have a Arthur Smith offense, and I'm thinking they're going to be all right, in my opinion. Go ahead. I was trying to find these other comments. I'm sorry. Lisa said, I think the Falcons let him go still. He has publicly said he wants out of here, so clearly he wants to break up with the Falcons. Let him go if he no longer wants to be with us. The vibe in the locker room would be weird now. And you're absolutely right. I think if you keep Julio there, listen, the guys are going to miss him. But people like Blake, Darby, Gage, it's my turn now. It's my turn.
My turn to eat.
Right. It's my turn to eat. Go back real quick. Yeah, Isaiah said it was me and you talking about the 150 plus yards rushing. Yeah, that was Isaiah. We were having that conversation yesterday. Talk to me what you think about our running back situation. I know people were going crazy. I wish I'm trying to pull up that picture with Mike Davis and his big legs and stuff like that people were. Again, we have a fan base that gets blinded. Oh my God, look at those big legs. She ought to get 300 yards. Seeing as how he probably had them same legs last year when he was running for Carolina. And I think that was you that pointed out something I don't know whether that was your post, Tiny, or somebody else's post where they were saying he averaged more yards per carry than Christian McCaffrey. I was like, Christian McCaffrey barely played last year.
Right.
So, yeah. So that was crazy. Tell me what you think about the running game, man. I know we haven't had a running back since the legendary Devonta Freeman left, but tell me what you think about what our running back situation look. I have to feel they're going to make some preseason cut pickups because you can't tell me this is going to be your running back.
Steve, I hope so, because I'm telling you, so far in this group, I've been the number one proponent against what we got as running backs going into the season. And I've been in these comments debating back and forth with people like, y'all sure y'all? I even made a post comparing Davis to Todd Gurley last year. It was pretty much identical production. It was pretty much identical. And now Mike Davis, yeah, he got these Superman-looking legs on the internet. Great. Newsflash. Hell, most of these guys got legs that look like it, you know?
Absolutely.
Especially at certain positions, running backs, tight ends.
Right.
That's what they do in the weight room. They work on their legs, their lower body. But hey, Mike Davis, guys, we're talking about a guy who has averaged under 4 yards per carry in his career. That's his career average, under 4 yards per carry. He's 28 years old. He ain't a spring chicken. So I'm not just gonna jump out the van and say, yeah, Mike Davis gonna solve all our running back woes. Right. And I've been saying for like 2 years that Allison needs to be cut. I'm definitely not sold on him. When I watch Allison, I watch a big body who lacks proper NFL vision, in my opinion. He runs too stiff. He has bad hips, and his balance is terrible. And people always telling me, well, he barely ran the ball. He ran the ball quite a bit in the preseason. They also gave him some carries, I want to say 2019.
Right.
I'm not really sold on this being a proper running attack. And then we got Cardell Patterson, and people, well, we just signed Cardell Patterson. Cardell Patterson is a gimmick running back, y'all. He's a gimmick running back. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter. Now, I say that, and I hope these guys come out here and prove me wrong this coming season, but I'm just not sold on this running game. I just really feel like we re-signed Todd Gurley with Mike Davis. I'm just being honest with you, and then, of course, he caught it. Now, I'll give him credit. He caught a lot more passes out the backfield than Todd Gurley did. But remember, guys, he was running Christian McCaffrey's playbook.
Right.
The Panthers have numerous plays where the running back is the number one option.
Right.
So some players are just designed to toss the ball to the running back. I'm not sold, Steve. I'm just not sold on the running backs we got. And I don't know what's going to be available after the June 1st cuts. Maybe we need to call my boy. I got his phone number.
Listen, I'm still thinking. There's no way Todd Gurley's going to get more than a minimum salary. If we had, I know people don't want to hear this, and I'm usually a person that of not bringing back rejects. In other words, like you were on the team and bring you back 3 years later. Sometimes like you started talking about when Desmond Trufant got cut initially and people were like, bring him back, and all of that. What do you have to lose with signing Todd Gurley to a 1 year, $1 million? He has no leverage. Now, he might want to go to a winner, but does a winner want to take Todd Gurley? When you do better with young guys. The only thing I say Todd Gurley did do, Todd Gurley sniffed out the end zone. Todd Gurley inside the 10 and inside the 5. You cannot deny, even when he wasn't supposed to, goes in and scores touchdowns. So I just, let's kick the tires on something, because if you tell me a roster of, you named it, Mike Davis, Allison, Cordell Patterson, the undrafted free agents we picked up, there is nothing that tells me those guys. I mean, the guy we have slated as a starter right now, dude, 600 yards, that ain't a lot. We gotta think about that. Let me get some of these comments to us, Tidy, real quick before, because I hate getting far behind. Chauncey says, I'm a big fan of Julio, but I'm a bigger fan of Falcon. I think I said that already. Dre said, Ron Dane had big legs too, and he did not last. It had a lot of leg injuries. That's a very good point. We had a big leg, big thigh. Big TJ Duckett had them big tree trunks on him. And don't get me wrong, TJ did okay work, but TJ wasn't a starter. No. John says, hey, didn't we find Turner in San Diego? Yep, Big Turner had them big trunks on it. Toya, how you doing, Toya? I ain't seen you in a while. Toya says, what was Derrick Henry's number before Arthur Smith? What are his numbers before Arthur Smith? Actually, I think Arthur Smith was already there when Derrick Henry arrived, if I'm not mistaken, because he was with the Tennessee organization for a while. He might not have been the OC.
Correct.
But he was, what coach was he? He said it. What coach was he before? See, I'm used to asking when he's not on. He's my stat guy too. What I can't remember whether he was the running back coach or was he maybe not running back. Maybe he was the O-line coach, but
I think O-line tight end coach, something like that.
Yeah. So he's been on the team. So maybe you're saying what were his numbers before he was an OC? I don't know, Toya, but it's obvious that he's benefited from the tutelage of Arthur Smith and his offense. That's a good question.
Before I became the offensive coordinator, because I've debated this point with people too. Derrick Henry averaged 4.2 or 4.5. I think it's 4.5 yards per carry the season before Arthur Smith came. He had like 4,200 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns. So Derrick Henry was pretty much borderline great back the season before Arthur Smith came. Even as a rookie, Derrick Henry averaged 4.5 yards per carry, had 5 touchdowns on very limited carries. Excuse me. The year following that, he had 4.2 yards per carry, and the year before Arthur Smith, he had actually 4.9 yards per carry. So even as a rookie, Derrick Henry has always been productive. I'm not here to take anything away from our new head coach, but I want people to realize and understand that Arthur Smith didn't just come and take crap and make it a mansion. That guy was already doing things, and he was sharing time with DeMarco Murray, who had $22 million. If they didn't have Murray there, Derrick Henry would have been a stud as a rookie. You know, just look at when you look at the Derrick Henry stats, look at the efficiency stats. Don't just look at the yards. Look at how efficient he was. Those yards per carry, they're there for a reason. That measures your efficiency. Just like when you look at Matt Ryan's stats, just don't look at the passing yards. Look at the average per pass. How efficient are you when you have an opportunity? Those are very important stats. So people make a habit of looking at the stats that measure efficiency and productivity. Those stats are very important.
Throwing for 4,500 yards when you've thrown 680 attempts kind of gives you a true perspective of what you're really getting done. Go look at Patrick Mahomes, and I guarantee you, without even looking at his stats, I can tell you right now he gets more bang for a buck for his passing that he has. Damian says Gurley is actually better than Davis. Isaiah says the Falcons might want to look at Darius Geis now that his legal situation is finally cleared up. He's only 23 and has fresh legs. I didn't like the idea of cutting Ito Smith. I'm not sure. Yeah, and I heard about that. Yeah, I think sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on the young man, but I think we're already going in transition enough. I don't think we need what am I saying? I don't think we need to rebuild personalities. I'm saying the wrong thing, but rebuild character rebuilds. I don't think we need to do character rebuilds right now. Get the folks in there that are good. Perfect example. Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay could afford to bring on Antonio Brown. You know why? Because Tampa Bay had a product and players, Tom Brady, that were winning. Antonio Brown can't go to the Falcons because he will go in there and say, I'm Antonio Brown. If he goes on a Tom Brady team, Tom Brady ain't going to put up with it. As happy-go-lucky as Gronk is, he ain't going to put up with it. Right. And Ndamukong Suh probably ain't going to put up with it. You have folks there who can kind of correct that. I think Darius Geis, as talented as he was at LSU and maybe that first season with Washington, he didn't even make it first season. I think he got hurt. I don't think you take a flyer on that. What do you think, Tyler?
I totally agree with you. You pretty much said it as plain as it can be. When you bring somebody like an Antonio Brown to Tampa Bay, you got Tom Brady there. You know, I know we don't like Tom Brady in our fan base. But when you talk about the leader, an elite leader, you're talking about Tom Brady, who the entire league respects. That's just like, let's say if you had a modern day Dennis Rodman in the NBA right now. You know, you cannot bring him on. He might probably want to work on the Atlanta Hawks, but you send him out there in LA, LeBron gonna keep him in line.
That's a good example. That's a great example. when you start talking about leaders / winners put other people in place. If you think, do y'all remember? Bruce Arians wanted nothing to do with Antonio Brown. Remember that? He wanted nothing
He
to
said,
do with him. He said, when they asked him, he said, nah, he's not going to be here. He went on public and said that. As the season went on, and Tom Brady waited for the right moment, and he said, hey, coach, I promise I'll be responsible for him. Right. I'm sure the conversation went like that.
He's my responsibility.
I got him. So, and you put up a great point, man. Think about The Last Dance. You were talking about Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman went to a San Antonio team where you've had the straight lace David Robinson, who, probably, to be honest, probably didn't have time to deal with the antics of Dennis Rodman. Robinson hadn't won that first title yet.
Right.
San Antonio was still doing, but when everybody heard Rodman was going to play with Jordan, how's that going to work out? Yeah, right. Jordan just won 3 championships, the reigning MVP, and he going to go in there and start trouble? I guarantee you they had one conversation. Mike said, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you go out on a date with Madonna, Carmen Electra, or whoever. I don't care what you run to Vegas and do what you got to do. When you get on this court, I need you to take care of business.
Right.
And Rodman, arguably, was less controversial at Chicago than he ever was anywhere else.
I agree.
Yeah. So I piggyback because that was an excellent point you brought up. Johnson said the Falcons are building for the future. All these smoke screens are blinding some people, but I see the Falcons set it up for the future for now. Isaiah says Todd Gurley is only 26, but not a bad idea to possibly take a fly on him. Terrell in
what happened, Steve?
That we owed him a quarterback without a noodle arm. Yeah, I'm gonna take. I don't know why this other one came up. I'm gonna hide this one. There you go. They said we owed him a quarterback without a noodle arm. Yeah. I don't listen. I'm not trying to say. Look, y'all. I don't want to. I'm down with all y'all opinion about Matt Ryan. I'm trust me. I'm somebody who wanted us to start in the future. The one thing I am going to say about Matt Ryan right now is, as of May 24th at 8 p.m., Matt Ryan is our quarterback. And ain't nothing you, me, the fans, the insults, the Braves fans who were booing him, some of them when he did the first pitch yesterday. There's nothing any of us can do about that. So noodle arm doesn't bother me because I'm kind of in the agreement that his arm isn't the strongest. But I also say, look, if this is your team, I'm tell you what, get it all out in the offseason. Get it all out. Because I want Matt Ryan I want that noodle arm to throw 35 touchdowns. I really do. So what do you think, Toddy? I'm talking for me. I don't want to talk for you. Oh, no.
I totally agree, man. I mean, we all know that his arm strength is not nowhere near probably top 10 in the league. But in the same token, you don't necessarily have to have a Jamarcus Russell arm to win Super Bowls. Right. I don't want to bring up the boogeyman in the conversation again, but his arm strength ain't all that either.
That's true. And even at the end, think about what Drew Brees did.
Right.
Dude, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Drew Brees might have won. Drew Brees been done for the last 2 or 3 years. He's been done. Think about we always talk about the 5 yards and out for Michael Thomas. Think about that, y'all. He didn't really do a whole lot those last couple of years at New Orleans. And that's a team, too, we're going to have to talk about later on when we start doing previews of teams. We got another caller on, Tidy. Caller, how you doing? This is Steve and Tidy in Atlanta Bird Gang and on Uncle Steve's Sports Lounge. Appreciate y'all subscribing over there if y'all get a chance to. Who you got, caller? Who we got?
Hey, what's up, Steven and Tidy? It's Armani.
What's going on, Armani?
Armani, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? I know today is a tough day for the Bird game, man, but you know what? At the end of the day, man, it's a business. You know what I mean? And if Julio wants to go, I think he's giving us. I mean, Julio has played, in his prime through Atlanta, and then he has a little bit left in the tank, but I don't think he's still in his prime. So we've got everything we got out of Julio. So the next team that's going to get him, they're not going to get what he would here. You know what I mean? So, you know, I wish him the best, but, you know, I was mad too. You know, I was mad at Terry, but can't be mad at Terry, can't be mad at Arthur because they didn't say they were going to, you know, they didn't come out and say, "All we're going to trade Julio" when they first got hired. That wasn't the case. You know, Julio came to them and said, "Hey, you know, I think my time is up here." And people need to understand. Sometimes people just overstay their welcome. You know what I mean? Just like any, you know, sometimes you in a relationship with a girl. You know, hey, you got to know when it's time to leave and time to part ways. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in football, you know, it's more often than not because, like Matt Ryan said, you rent the locker. You know, these guys aren't going to play forever. So with that being said, it's just time to move on. And hopefully one of these young guys will step up. Still got Kyle Pitts, still got Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst. I mean, it's not like, you know, we have to just throw in the season just because Julio going. Because Julio's going to miss 7 to 8, maybe 9 games anyway. So I'm just being real. You know what I mean? So it's probably time for the marriage to end. It's time to move on. And, hey, we moving. Julio moving on and we moving on. So that's where I'm at with it.
What did you think about today? I'm hearing everybody else's opinion. What did you think about the phone call? Did you think it was organic, or do you think it was staged a little bit?
Of course, you know it was staged. I mean, let's not. We all know what time for the student come on Mondays. That's not. All BS to the side. Let's not act like we don't know what comes on FS1 at 9:30 on a Monday morning. He knew. That's why when what's the name asked, I think Jenny Tab asked, you know, did he know he was on the show? Of course he knew. He probably sitting there watching the TV last. He knew. We all know that. He knew that. All that report saying that, oh, well, he didn't know he was live. What time you think Undisputed come on? I mean, on a Monday.
Okay, look. Okay, hold on. Because I see a lot of y'all. You know, y'all going against the grain on this one for me. But I'm gonna tell you where I thought. I'm gonna tell you that if it was staged, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd give a couple of Emmys out because I thought they did some good acting when he called him, and I know. Yeah, the shot. Oh, he answered. It didn't seem like Julio, and not that I've ever seen Julio be the most, the greatest speaker in the world or whatever. I'm not saying that as a non-intelligent thing, but he doesn't do a lot of great public speaking. He doesn't. But he seemed super relaxed with Shannon when he talked. And there were two things that I saw. If you go back and look at the tape, the young lady said in the middle of the tape, "Does he know we're live?" And I'm almost wondering from a sense of Fox, did somebody say, "Hey, make sure he knows he's live"? Because I you know, from a team standpoint, you don't want to tick off the Atlanta Falcons in this particular case. Because I think the Falcons might be like, wow, that's pretty low end, Fox. I know we got opinion people on here, but y'all kind of sabotaged us on that one. Yeah. And then at the very end, he tells Julio, "Yeah, brother, yeah, man, you on live, man. I'll holler at you later." I just think when they said that, if it was staged, why would you need to say we're live? I just thought that was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, and then like Tidy said, if he didn't know he was live, which I highly doubt that he didn't know he was live, because like I said, it's Monday. What time that broke? Around 11. He knew. But if he did know, that'll burn that bridge with Shannon Sharp. That was his bad then, because I mean, you just can't do stuff like that. And then you got so I guess what they don't understand how much. I mean, it was already buzz going on around the league regarding Julio, but now with Julio coming out and saying that, I mean, that just created a lot of leverage for him to be traded, and a lot of teams are going to be calling for him. But as far as that goes, Shannon, I think they both discussed it before the show. Hey, I'm gonna bring you on live. You know what I mean? You want to come out, say, regardless where you want to go. We already know, he ain't going to Dallas. He made that very clear.
Yeah,
he's going to go to Dallas.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, and I think they're going to do the right thing. I don't think he'll be a Falcon come next. I give it about, what's today? Monday? The first is Tuesday. I think you'll hear something around the first. Before I let you go, we were sitting here talking yesterday, and I don't know if you were on yesterday. I can't remember, but we were talking about hype songs coming in. I was saying one of my favorite hype songs was definitely Luda and Stand Back, and not Stand Back and Move, Get Out the Way. And I know Tidy was mentioning how he liked Funky Town from Lip Sync. He liked.
No. I can't deny it. I'm a straight rider. You don't want to. Come on.
He liked Ambitions of a Rider, which was actually that's the first song off that album. As soon as you turn when you that was the classic from Tupac for me, and that's the very first thing you hear when you turn on the CD or whatever back then, for people who remember cassette tapes. What's your hype song, Armani? Get you in the mood for football, get you there.
I mean, for Falcons football, I mean, it's either We Ready?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite ones, or Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's my go-to right there. Because if I'm going to the game, I'm doggone it. I'm playing that song on the way to the stadium. Because we in Atlanta.
That's it.
To Atlanta. Hey, let's make it happen. So that's my favorite song.
Hey, brother, you got it. And thank you for the info that Arthur Smith was tight ends coach. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank Isaiah. I see y'all down the line. Thank y'all so much for that info. Brother Armani, man, we appreciate you, brother. We're going to talk to you down the line, my friend.
Peace, Armani.
All right now, man. Y'all be safe. All right.
Thank you, brother. Brother Dre says TJ was third down back when we needed a first down. Absolutely. He said, Steve and Tidy, can I get your opinion on something about Tennessee? Absolutely, brother. I'm going to come down here and see if I can get some more stuff down here. Got another phone call. Phone's trying to light up on us. You got Tidy, you got Steve here in Atlanta Bird Gang. Talk to us. How you doing, caller? I hear your background, caller. Who we got?
Oh, my bad. How you doing?
What's going on? Who we got, brother?
Hey, this is Terrell.
Hey, Terrell, what's going on, brother? I see your stuff coming down, man. What's the word, man?
The word is it's a long time coming.
Yeah.
It's a long time coming. So what it is, man, Julio has been saying the right things for the organization. Around my quarterback, all that type of stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When it's time to win, we ain't doing nothing to win. He just told us he wants to go somewhere and win. What that means, we ain't gonna win this year. We should have been rebuilt.
So you agree with me on draft night that we probably should have snatched up Mr. Fields before we let him slip to Chicago?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Sorry about that background.
No. You good, brother. You good. Keep talking, brother. You good. You got the floor, man.
Yeah, I just real happy that Julio has finally made his move. Time for him to go somewhere and go ahead and solidify a championship on his resume. Even though when he do go to the Hall of Fame, it will be as a Atlanta Falcons, but he do need to go ahead and move on while he still got some legs in him.
So let me ask you a question, Terrell. Again, and you sound like I said, you sound like probably the average fan, where you're like, we're not disrespecting you, bro. We're not disrespecting you, Julio, but it's time. If this had happened 4 years ago, I could see people throwing their arms up. But if it's happening when you're in the middle of a 3-year, $22 million a year contract, and you haven't given us a lot of time. So what's your thought? I mean, do you think the fan base should be mad, or do you think we should be like, hey, thank you, but we're going to open the door for you?
You're supposed to say thank you.
Yeah.
Man has given us 10 plus years.
Yeah.
You got to say thank you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We're not going to get a first rounder for him.
Right.
Our best thing is to try to get a second rounder. That would be the best case scenario. Even though what Toddy had said, what Belichick to do, that's probably what would happen.
And Toddy, remind me, you said third.
Your second, maybe a fourth round.
Right.
I said third, fourth, and sixth. And I just want to comment on what Terrell just said. When he says time, he pretty much saying it's time to rebuild. I hate to bring the open can of worms, but whatever draft pick we get from this Julio trade, that's draft picks we need to use to move up in the draft.
There you go.
Get a quarterback.
There you go. There you
Use
go.
it wisely. Don't, whatever come with that Julio trade, now you got some capital to move up in the draft if you have to.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And if it's a team in the NFL that we know got draft picks, it's the New England Patriots.
They keep draft picks.
They keep them in the closet.
Yeah.
My brother Terrell, we've been asking everybody, brother. You sound like I see some of your stuff out there. You like a real fan, brother. What's your hype song going into the Falcon? We've established that one of mine is "Get Low" by Lil Jon. I know Toddy likes to listen to Madonna and Material World going into the game. What do you want to listen to?
He like to twerk in that song.
I have to do this the cleanest way possible. It would be bump them other people because I'm down for my people.
Hey, I hear you, brother. Look, again, and I appreciate you keeping it PG for us, folks. I appreciate that. That ain't nothing but respect, man. I appreciate that. That is hype, bro. That ain't nothing but hype right there, man. My brother Terrell, please call back anytime you want to, man. Myself or Title, we appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. I work out, stand up.
That's right. Absolutely, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Chauncey said, if I had 1,000 darts, I bet I'd hit the bullseye at least once. More attempts, better chances of success. He's talking about the many throws that Matt Ryan throws. He have a better chance of completing some passes. My brother Bro, haven't seen you like in a while, man. Just like a bad relationship, I don't want you to stay, but if you want to leave, leave. Chauncey says, please name me one loser that players want to play for. Oh, wait. I'm assuming the loser he's referring to is Matt Ryan. And look, unfortunately, he's our loser this year, folks. I'm not trying to, and look, that is not saying don't give your opinion. I want your opinion. But at the end of the day, we're stuck with him, right? Isaiah said, I see what y'all saying. I'm rooting for guys. And listen, I root for any young man to get a second chance. Look, mistakes happen along the way. We talked about Vic earlier. The young man, what's the guy that was in Frisco and was at Dallas last year? Defensive end. Come on, Toddy. There's that guy from Frisco. Big Alden Smith. And he got into the trouble a couple of times. The brother the receiver that kept going in and out, Cleveland, Josh Brown.
Yeah.
Right?
Gordon.
Brown. What's his name?
Gordon.
Josh Gordon. I'm sorry. Josh Gordon. Yes, I root for these young men to be able to turn their life around and do, great things. And I'm not saying Geis doesn't deserve that chance. What I would like to see sometimes is maybe to take that time off of football to kind of get your things together, just to make sure that, because after football is over with, we don't want to hear any Kellen Winslow stories and hearing how you're mistreating women and I think that's one of the most disgusting stories I've ever heard and things like that. But I like to see better human beings come out of it. So I root for the young man to turn his life around first. Then we can start thinking about football. What is your thoughts on that, Tiger?
Oh, I totally agree, man. Redemption stories and second chances. Even our guy Michael Vick. He's such a lightning rod in the Falcons community in our Facebook group. But he's the poster boy for redemption stories. He did what he did as a young child. Well, I ain't gonna say a child, as a young man.
Right.
He got his sentence. He served his time. He lost everything. They took everything from him. Made him donate $1 million to those dogs that he mistreated. He got out of prison, became the ultimate citizen, became a better man, a bigger man, came back into the league, got another $100 million contract, kept his nose clean as can be. And now look at him now. He's on all the sports networks, talking football, looking good. And I hope one day I'll see him as a coach. Hopefully he'll be a coach in our organization one day. That's the poster boy for redemption stories, man. And I'm critical of Vic sometimes in this group from a football perspective, but I so much admire the Mike Vick redemption story. That's one of the best sports stories as far as redemption goes that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, you that timeline again that you nailed it right on the head. Think about even the respect level he got after the 2007 season, and think how people were ready to throw him away. Don't get me wrong, there was a part of the fan base that was still had his back. I think more though as a player. I think when you talk about what the man is now, and you hear him, he doesn't try to hide from his past. He doesn't try to sugarcoat the fact that he made some terrible mistakes as a young man. But what he actually shows too, that you can evolve as a human being and you can turn into somebody else. And now, if it's anybody that I want to talk to, some young kids, and try to tell them, say, hey, look, I was on top of the world, dropped back, came back, and went back to the top because I just did not give up. And remember, he had the great mentorship of Tony Dungy during that time too. That's the ultimate redemption story. So that when you start talking about Geis, that's when I say, look, I hope the young man does come back. Brother Rusty, what's going on, man? Say, I have a feeling we were about to get fleeced in this Julio trade. Yeah, if you're talking about fleece being less than the first rounder, we probably will. Isaiah says Matt is boring and can be pretty bland, but I think people are riding Matt too hard. Didn't people call Breeze noodle arm? Yeah, let me tell you something. As far back as the pre-Michael Thomas era, I went to a New Orleans game and sat right behind the goal line. And if any of you have Game Pass, because you can see me and my son, we were the only Falcons. I tell you, if you ever go back, look at the game that we played, and OCU Humaniora ran back the touchdown with no time left. Remember that game? Go look in the end zone. You're going to see 2 Falcon jerseys. And every time somebody kicked the ball, because we knew we were on camera, we did like this. But anyway, we went to that game, and that whole 2 rows was dogging Drew Brees out. And arguably Drew Brees was still throwing pretty good in 14, 15. And there were folks wanting to get rid of him. So, the noodle arm thing, again, I laugh at it, but hey, it's our new arm.
Steve, let me say this about Breeze.
Go ahead.
I hate to give the opposition any kind of credit, so to speak, but this is the thing about Drew Brees. Before Brees got to New Orleans, and the long-term Falcons fans, y'all can attest to this. The New Orleans Saints, the Aints, they were even further down on the totem pole than the Atlanta Falcons were, as far as the NFL franchises go. Yeah. What Brees did is he went and gave a traditionally horrendous, picked upon, jabbed at franchise a Super Bowl. Yeah. And of course, he didn't do it alone, but he was the catalyst behind the Super Bowl. So they embraced him in that city like no other. And then also, he earned a lot of equity in that franchise, with the franchise and with some of the fans, even today. And of course, Matt Ryan can't win or lose a Super Bowl on his own, but that's really what separates the two as far as the equity and the leash goes. If Brees wanted to, Brees could have came back another year if he wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, so that's kind of the difference between that two. That Lombardi, it does something, man. Can't nobody ever take that Lombardi away from New Orleans or Drew Brees or him raising that Lombardi as a Super Bowl MVP back in 2009.
And we talk about that, Ty. Think about that. If you go up to that point, the Falcons were decidedly considered a better franchise than the New Orleans Saints. I'll take it one step further. If you would have backed up about 5 years and probably 6 to the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, we were considered the second best team in the West next to, at that time, Frisco, because remember the NFC West was different teams then. But when Tampa came over, and then you had Carolina. Did Carolina come in yet? I'm not sure if Carolina came in, but Tampa had moved to our division, and we were considered better than Tampa. We were considered better than New Orleans. Tampa won their Super Bowl. We got knocked down to 3rd, but still decidedly better than New Orleans. Drew Brees, the Drew Brees effect from when he came from San Diego to New Orleans is such a historic turnaround for that franchise. They immediately jumped to the head of the food table in this division. Last year, Tampa Bay got it back. Now they got 2 chips. But New Orleans immediately jumped to the top. Now, Drew hadn't done nothing for 11 years, but because of that one moment in time, that shining moment, that dumb moment that Hank Basket didn't fall on that onside kick at halftime for the Colts. But that one shining moment that Drew Brees got is something we don't have, folks.
Right.
That we can talk about Drew all we want to, and until Matt accomplishes that, and until Matt gets that, folks, the criticism is fair.
Right.
It's fair.
And look at this too, Steve. We can go back before Brees came. If we want to just look at Atlanta versus New Orleans from a football perspective, before Brees came there, we had like a 10 to 12 game lead as far as the all-time series win.
Right. That's right.
We knew, they knew, the NFL knew, as far as this rivalry goes, the Falcons, they own this rivalry.
Yes, they do.
Now Brees leaves. That lead is only 2 games. They sweep us this year. We have no bragging rights nowhere.
Man, he made the difference. He did. Deuce McAllister, Joe Horn, what's my Colson, what's my boy Roman Harper, all those guys that came and left. Jeremy Shockey, people forgot about him. He was on that Super Bowl team. Yeah. Just all those folks, Malcolm Jenkins, that came through there on the Breeze train and rode that, got a chance to move that franchise up. And then for the last 3 years, think about how hyped Drew Brees has made his team. The last 3 years, I buy those summer magazines, which I'm going to buy again this year, talking about predictions. Every single year from 2017, who do they pick for the Super Bowl? New Orleans, New Orleans, New Orleans. Even when Breeze wasn't throwing it well, because he brought the expectation level up for that franchise. That's why fans are critical of Matt. We won, even the year we won the Super Bowl, the next year, most people still didn't put us as going to the Super Bowl the next year.
Right.
We're going with Green Bay, folks are going to Seattle. So the perception of the Atlanta Falcons doesn't change until Matt Ryan raises his game up and takes us to that promised land. I mean, that's what it all boils down to.
Yep.
Dre Trice says, he said this yesterday. His hype song is "Turn Out the Lights" by Teddy Pendergrass. Now, I like I said, I don't know what Dre be doing during the football game, but that's a little bit on the.
Dre be having them halftime specials.
I know what I'm trying to say, yeah, man.
Halftime.
It ain't nothing wrong with that either.
Right.
Hey, you 15 minutes, man.
He taking advantage of those 12 to 15 minutes he get. I ain't mad at you.
Oh man, Lisa says, I also wonder about what is this Julio situation says about the Falcons as an organization. Are people thinking that we're a poorly run organization if one of our top receivers wants out? I know with Aaron Rodgers' situation in Green Bay, I thought that about them. I just wonder if this creates a cloud over us like Pigpen. Thoughts, Steve and Tidy? I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are before I give you the Tidy. Only difference I say with this, Lisa, listen, the Falcons, and especially after the Super Bowl, blowing the Super Bowl, our organization's motto is we can't get the job finished, whether it be at the end of the Super Bowl, whether it be finish the season on top, our organization can't get finished. Now, the only unfair thing I'll say about 2021 is Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, more Terry Fontenot, was handed an account with insufficient funds. He was handed something that he knew was going to be unpopular. Lisa, I know you were listening to the club member thing that they had a couple of weeks ago that Terry was answering the question. And he basically was saying they're going to have some moves that are going to be uncomfortable with this organization because Thomas and Dan and Arthur were falling in love with certain players instead of making 2-year contracts to get out, 2-year contracts like they did with Breeze. They were coddling and saying, oh, Julio for life, Matt for life. And all that for life doesn't mean anything to the fan who hadn't been able to celebrate a Peachtree parade in this town. And I think I went on a little long, but I think you get what I'm saying. Tidy, what do you think?
I think in the grand scheme of things, ultimately it does throw a little mud on the face of the Falcons franchise, so to speak, because that's really just another thing for people to joke and pick at us about. You know, they said, well, you know, probably the greatest player that you've ever had for a long period of time gets on national TV and divorces you, you know? So unfortunately, that's really just something else that people gonna have to poke at us about. And really the only way to get past that, we gotta win. You know, we gotta take this and use it as fuel. Gotta win. That's the only way to shut people up. You gotta win the big game. You know, you win the big game, the 20-3 jokes will stop. The whatever comes, the aftermath of this Julio situation will stop. And then once you get that Lombardi, man, the jokes stop, and then you get to lead the kiddie table, and you can sit at the adult table.
Yeah. And think about, and I know I'm wishing and praying and hoping, and of course, my goal as a fan is for us to get to the Super Bowl. But think about if this franchise, if Arthur Smith can lead this team to the Super Bowl without Julio Jones in the next couple of years. Think about what that would say as the mad scientists in this organization, what they did. They had to cut fat. They had to get some folks up out of here. Right now, I'm willing to listen to anything because whatever we have been doing hasn't worked. So if Terry has to make that hard decision, so be it.
Right.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Dre says, do you think Ryan Tannehill has a better arm than Matt Ryan to get Julio the ball because Matt Ryan has a strong noodle? Well, listen, I think they're kind of the same quarterback. Before we start pumping up Ryan Tannehill, let's pump the brakes on that. That Tennessee team was run by Derrick Henry. Henry, as Derrick Henry goes, so goes Tennessee. Let's not make any mistake about that. Ryan Tannehill's career was saved by being able to be on a team with Derrick Henry. Am I in the right ballpark?
You are absolutely right. I was talking like 3 weeks ago, and I was telling people, you know what? If we had Derrick Henry, Matt Ryan would have looked like an elite quarterback. The Falcons would have been in the playoffs. You know, a guy like that, he just changes everybody's playing. You know, he changes how everybody plays. You know, he can elevate your entire team. When you got just a big, strong running back like that, man, to lean on all 4 quarters, we'd have looked like a super team then. Matt Ryan would have looked like you want to give him a 3 to 4 year extension. You know, just based off having that kind of running back, man. And unfortunately, we didn't have it. You know, we had the latter part of Todd Gurley's career. We had the latter part of Devontae Freeman's career.
Right.
We had the latter part of Steven Jackson's career. You know, so again, throwing Matt a little bone. You know, you give him a semblance of a running game, and you take all the pressure off him. I think some of his mistakes, based on him having to do so much in his offense. And I just want to say this because I see it so often in our fan base, guys. 4-12 was not all Dirk Coder's fault.
No.
It was not all his fault. You know,
nope.
If you ain't got nothing to do but throw the ball 40, 45 times a game, if you're at the bottom of the list and average when you look at the runs per attempt, you gotta go with your bread and butter. You know, you ain't got the talent. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care if it's Bill Belichick as the head coach and Nick Saban as the assistant head coach. If you ain't got the talent there, guys, ain't no coach gonna make you a serious contender. A coach may win you a few more games to a couple more games, but you still gotta have the talent. Dirk didn't have nobody. You know, he didn't have nobody he could lean on.
Yeah. And we got to remember too that again we inherited. Well, Dirk inherited after 2018. Julio, who was disgruntled. Calvin Ridley, that was only his second year. Russell Gage, who hadn't really seen the field that much. We were getting ready to get rid of Sanu. I mean, in fairness, and a broken down Devonta Freeman at that point.
Right.
In fairness, he didn't have the tools that we had that Kyle had back in 2016. Now, nobody really gave a lot of credence to Sanu, Gabriel, or neither one of our run. Devonta didn't get the shine until 2016. People knew he was solid, but he didn't get the shine. Tevin Coleman definitely didn't get the shine going in. So you give Kyle credit. I always akin that situation to what they had in Frisco, the Super Bowl, when they were rotating Breida, Moser, and Tevin Coleman. When that same rotation looked extremely similar to when Devonta, Tevin Coleman, and every now and then you see Teron Ward jump in the mix for that run game. Lisa says that C murder is my jam. Michael says goodbye Bottle Rocket. Good luck. Let's trade him to the Bears for Justin Fields. Good luck with that. Chauncey says, I wasn't referring to Matt as a loser. I was referring to the losing franchise, i.e. Jets, Jags. I got you, brother. David says he disagreed with my Breeze take. From the reports I read, Peyton was ready to move on after this season. It may have been. Hey, he may have. Lisa says, thanks, Steve. I agree with that perspective. All the Falcon for life stuff messed us up. You know, Devonta got thrown in that Falcon for life too. You know that, right? And remember when Luke's wife was working with his contract and they signed him, they were like, yeah, we're going to have Devonta here for life too. They threw that for him too when they signed him to that ridiculous contract. Lisa also says, thanks, Tidy. Winning cures everything. Brandon says, just win, baby. Al Davis says it. So just like you're saying, Tidy. Twan says, I'm interested to see what author blank has to say. And I agree with Tidy. We need to win. That's how you stop people from talking or stop players like Julio from saying that. But if Atlanta wins the Super Bowl without Julio, somebody will have the blank face. Sean Glover says the pressure number 2 has risen 30-fold with his pipe burst of flow. Brother Sean, listen, he doesn't have a choice. I hope he goes back to Tom House and retrain that body, because I'm trying to tell you this. So good question for you, Tidy. Now that you know Julio is gone, your status as the Atlanta Falcon franchise quarterback and your place in the Ring of Honor is already secured. What would this do for Matt Ryan's legacy if he can take this team back to the Super Bowl without his Hall of Fame wide receiver?
Man, it would actually recreate Matt Ryan's legacy. Exactly. You know, all the flack and everything that we give him, other people in circles give him, it would totally change his perception to everybody in the NFL, even his biggest fans, because a lot of us have given a lot of his accomplishments in the NFL to his receiving corps. Right. If he can now, losing an all-time great wide receiver, put this team on his back, get us back to the Super Bowl, man, even the biggest Matt Ryan hater would have to give him his credit. You know, you have to give him his credit.
I hope we repeat the Roddy White situation. I said this several times. Think about the uproar when Roddy was let go. Oh. I'm not comparing it totally, because Roddy was honestly probably more on the out than this situation here.
Right.
But remember the venom when they thought about getting rid of Roddy that summer, and then they actually did. That it was very tense, if you remember, Tidy.
Right. Oh, it was extremely tense, because the thing about Roddy's person, to me, and I'm not trying to take a jab at Julio, but Roddy was more of a Falcon than Julio was.
I got you.
Roddy would get in the media and throw shots at New Orleans. He'd tell New Orleans, I don't like your city. It smell, it stink. I don't like them. The food. I don't even like the women there. I just like the food. When it was time to play New Orleans, Roddy was the one pushing players, getting in everybody's face. So even though Julio was way better talent, unquestionable.
Right.
Roddy caught a lot of people's heart just because of the heart that Roddy had and how much he loved his team, the Falcons. And it's gonna, when the dust settles 20 years from now, Roddy didn't want to leave. He was pushed out. Julio asked to leave. So the dynamic is vastly different between these two situations.
It's almost like you're telling me, and that was a very good point. Roddy was so local that that's where his popularity was driven. Roddy rode or died Falcon.
Right.
Because you don't hear Julio as Falcon oriented, even though he's been here a decade, you don't get that same vibe that Julio is ride or die for the Falcons. I'm not saying he didn't prior to. Really, when I think about it, when did all the $2 million, $3 million? What is that? 2017 or 18? That was 2018, right? 18. So since that time, you haven't, as a fan, especially not about talent, have you really felt like Julio has been really down with the team? And I replay it again. 2018, please give me more money. I might sit out. 2019, I need a new contract. Need to be the highest paid receiver. And now 2021. And when you are asking for a trade coming off a year when you were only on the field for 7 to 8 games, I hear you, fans. I hear you, Julio riders. I hear y'all. But come on, man. We gonna need to use that money. You all do know we gotta soon sign Calvin, and you gonna have to sign. Listen, if Fourier gives us another year like last year, you got to think about him. He almost becomes more important than Deion Jones,
possibly
at this point. So you have some players that you're gonna have to think about coming up here, y'all. But that was an awesome point, Tidy. And I see some comments coming about your point about Roddy being. Let me get to him right quick. Brandon said, what realistically can we get for a trade for Julio? I think we talked about that a little bit. I don't think a first round. I think we'll be lucky to get a second round. I think we're gonna probably be looking like Sanu-ish type.
Yeah.
Thing.
And the problem with that, Steve, it's not like nobody don't want to give you value for Julio, right. But the difference in the Sanu trade and the Julio trade, Sanu cap hit for the incoming team was only what, $6 million, maybe. Yep. You almost triple that. So
after a pandemic year when you don't have money.
So the team that brings him in, that's gonna automatically, even if he didn't get on TV today and said what he said, that automatically decreases his value because they gotta pay him so much.
This is true. Dre says Julio to the Pats would make our only primetime game look amazing, like Tom Brady game back in 2000. That would be super hype to have Julio come back and we come back here in a Patriots uniform on Thursday night. All of a sudden, that becomes, to your point, that becomes must-see TV.
Yeah.
Sanique, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I tell my friends all the time that Matt Ryan has not had a premier running back or offensive line. You probably, Matt Ryan's only premier running back was Michael Turner. I think Devontae had the 1 year. But if you think about Michael Turner, arguably one of the best free agent pickups in history, Michael Turner was the only true bell cow running back that Matt has had since he was here. I think. Christian says, a good thing we are coming. Things are coming to the A without Julio. Watch how it play out nicely. So complex said, so complex. I see what you're doing. Just because Julio, I gotta get some of these. Y'all gotta.
Steve, you know you was born in the 30s.
Man. I'm about to say, man, y'all expect me to just listen. I was in elementary school in the 70s, y'all. Y'all gotta stop all these.
This is how the young folks do it on social media, Steve. You know what I'm saying? You know you were buying 8-tracks and stuff in your day.
We had abacus. We had no calculators. We just slid. Oh man. He says, just because Julio wants out, do the Falcons honor that? I think right now you don't have a choice because one, financially it's going to work better for us. And two, do you want to bring him back? If the man says publicly, I don't care if he comes back and apologizes. If the man comes out and says, I want out, similar to what's our buddy up in Cleveland, Odell? Same thing. He wanted out from New York Giants. Once that releases, once that's in the atmosphere, you can't bring that back to the locker room. You can't, because there might be some. Listen, those are real football players. I don't care how big Julio is, and how there's some people gonna be in their feelings about that. Oh, I mean, dude, I'm like, Julio, you don't want to be here, dude. Get out of here then. I don't care what your status is.
And Steve, you know what? Let me say this too. Some of this kind of leads me to believe that maybe some people knew that a bombshell was about to break today.
Sure.
I don't know if you caught the post I put in the group before they put me back in the hole, but I posted Cardell Patterson's tweet.
I did, yeah, I saw that.
It was a very passionate tweet. No, yeah. Julio, don't leave. And it's almost like he knew something was about to happen very soon. So it just makes me wonder. And I don't know if you touched about this already, Steve, but we catch some flack in this group, you know, especially with you and I being administrators. Like before this whole Julio story broke today, people was like, "Oh, why y'all keep talking about Julio? Y'all man GMs and couch GMs, can we have a day without keep talking about Julio? I'm so like y'all know everything. You know, y'all like that's all y'all do is talk about Julio." It's like, guys, this is a Falcons group. This is the #1 trending story on the internet. Do y'all expect us to ignore this? Yeah. And now look what happens. I think a lot of people, like you were saying on your show, they just like, I don't want to hear it. But we're gonna talk about it. You know, when the Matt Ryan saga starts, when he's about to leave, we're gonna talk about it, y'all. This is the Falcons group. You know, this is our content. We ain't here to talk about this. We ain't here to talk about politics, dogs, cats, birds, trucks, cars. We're here to talk about the Falcons. So when we make the headlines and the whole world is talking about us, we're gonna talk about us.
As I explained yesterday, this is called a mouse. This works great with a PC. All you have to do is use this button and scroll. This is called a finger. For those of you who have iPads and iPhones, you can scroll up like this. Yes. I love the fact that we have different opinions in this group. Hold on one second. We got one caller coming in. Caller, how you doing? This is Steve and Tidy here in the Atlanta Bird Gang. How you doing? Talk to me.
What's up, man? This is Dwayne.
Dwayne, how you doing, sir?
So Dwayne,
man, doing all right, man. Look, I agree with y'all about Julio. You know, it's just time to move on, man. We have to understand that these players are not here to be here forever. And if he decides he want to leave, okay, thank you for your services. We appreciate the years you gave us, but we're going to oblige you with your request and next man up. That's how it needs to be, man. We can't get too hooked into these players because we don't know when they're gonna leave or when they're gonna stay, you know, or if they're gonna stay year to year. It's a business. And that man that publicly said that he don't want to be here, he want to win. If go somewhere where you think you might win, you're gonna find out the grass is not green on the other side.
And he might also find out that you're not going to get another team that's going to put up. You go to New England, and I'm just going off the rumor. If you would go to New England, I'm sorry. I don't think Bill Belichick going to be letting you jump out every 2 plays. I don't think Bill Belichick going to let you take Wednesday and Thursday off for practice. Right. I don't think you're going to get that. As we joke with our kids all the time, it's this song by Frank Ocean called "Sweet Life," where they coddle. They talk about people who get coddled all the time. It's not gonna be like that. So to your point, yeah, if you want to go ahead and take that mentality with you. Tidy, I know I see you like you want to say something to him.
Oh, I just totally agree with you saying. I mean, Julio got drafted here. You know, he did big things here. So it was kind of like the employee who's been here 20 years. You know, you come in late, the boss look to the other side. You know, if the calendar book you need a vacation, the boss will make it happen for you. You know, you've earned fringe benefits based on your performance and your loyalty. But now when you leave Google and you go work for Apple, Apple ain't gonna put up with all the stuff that Google put up with. You know, hey, dude, you're a new employee to us.
Absolutely.
Can I say one more thing?
No. Go ahead. And then I got one question for you. Go ahead, brother.
You know, I know I hear talking about the Wiggins, but the one thing I think that might make a play for, I don't know what their cap is or what their cap status is, but you got to think about it. Who's playbook out there that's a head coach that you know very well?
Talking about Dan Quinn?
No, Mike Shanahan.
Shanahan. Kyle out in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Kyle has 2 receivers in Deebo Samuels and Brandon Ayuk that I know are some.
But they just signed one. And cut him within the same week.
Oh, Marquise Lee. Marquise Lee is Russell Gage he had like 1 year that he was pretty good. And yeah, to your point, I think the only problem is they just signed Kittle to that monster deal. They're taking on Jimmy G's salary, plus they just brought in Trey Lance. As far I'm thinking about the money situation, I'm not talking about talent. I'm almost wondering. I'm not looking at their cap situation right now, but I can tell you that would be an interesting call. Go ahead, Tidy.
49ers currently have enough money to make it happen. They have $17.6 million in cap space. Even going into next year, they're projected to have $9.3 million. So if they can make a cut here, restructure there, they can easily make it happen this year.
I stand corrected, my friend. So you're right on point.
I really think they can sleep a team that's looking at him because that's the perfect fit for Julio. Julio has been to Super Bowl with Shanahan as the offensive coordinator. So if he stays on national TV, he wants to win. I think he has a better chance of winning with San Francisco than he will with New England.
But the good thing is we don't.
Cam Newton is not who he used to be, and I really don't think Mac Jones had what it takes right now to help them win immediately.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. I don't think Cam Newton is that guy. I know they work out together, but I don't think Cam Newton, and especially look, Julio might get the ball out there from Cam Newton. It ain't no telling where the ball gonna land though. Because Cam might be able to throw 50 yards, but he dang sure can't hit the target. So we've seen that in the past. My brother, I've been asking everybody on the line, brother, what's your pregame hype song for the Falcons getting ready? What's your pregame hype?
Oh, you saw it. You saw it yesterday when you at.
You know what, brother? I apologize, Dwayne. You're gonna have to tell me again because we got a lot more people from what I saw earlier listening to it.
Okay. It's always T.I. Bring them out.
I do remember that. Dwayne, these gray hairs on my beard signify that. And with my age, sometimes my memory don't go hand in hand with it. But
you real old, Dwayne. Man, ancient.
Hey,
you help build the pyramids.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you entirely, man, because I mean, even though people on here complaining about, y'all being GMs, it's not about being GMs. It's about it's good dialogue, good healthy dialogue. Let's figure out what our team is doing. Let's see who got it right. That's how I look at it. And it's like even during the draft, when I found out San Francisco was looking at what's the guy name they just drafted?
Trey Lance.
I automatically knew then. I said, okay. At the fourth round pick, at the fourth pick in the first round, I knew we were getting Kyle Pitts because there's no way you're going to pick a quarterback at the fourth pick. If you couldn't trade, now we would have been able to trade back not, whoever it was, we wouldn't get what we was asking for. So we never trade back. So once we stayed put, I said, okay, we finna go for Kyle Pitts, because if you pick a player at the 4th pick, at the pay that you have to pay them, you don't want somebody sitting behind Matt Ryan for a year or two, making that kind of money holding the clipboard. Now, we did that already with Matt Shaw. We paid him all that money to sit behind Matt Ryan, and he couldn't throw either. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, first of all, I'm not saying that Matt Ryan can't throw. I like Matt Ryan. I don't know why people hate on Matt Ryan. I know he makes some bad decisions, but the man still put numbers up.
Right.
And I feel like if we would have had a better defense, even ranked from 15th to 19th, and a decent run game, that would have made his game a whole lot easier, because you're a threat when you got a run game. You don't have a run game, they know you're going to be pass heavy. So that's why he looks bad a lot of times. So I'm just glad that y'all guys are doing this. I thank y'all for the dialogue. I appreciate what y'all do. I listen to y'all every time I get a chance. And all these naysayers on the Bird game, man, if you don't like the team, don't say anything. You don't have anything positive to say, because we got to be better fans for whoever is on the field. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, my friend.
We dog our team out more than we cheer them on. And let me say this last thing I'm going to say. The one thing I hate when I come to that stadium is to see the opposition fans more than ours. It can never come in that dome and outnumber us. But I go toe to toe with all of them. I had some Cowboy fans there to see when we sat Dak Prescott 9, 10 times, whatever it was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I changed his name from Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott.
Yeah. That when what's our boy who was here?
Claiborne.
Adrian Claiborne. Yeah. When he sat them.
Dak Prescott to Dak Prescott. I had so mad at him. I was surrounded by some Cowboys fans. I think they had a 2-for-1 special on their jackets that they had on with all the phones on them. I said, man, y'all got this jacket from Walmart. Man. I said, look, I love it. But we got to start supporting that team better, man.
Well, that's our goal, brother. That's our goal.
Yeah.
We gonna do that, brother Dwayne. It's been awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliments. We listen to y'all, man. We trying to put it out there for folks to come and get it together, brother. We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Oh yeah, thank you, man.
All right, now, and going back to what Tidy was saying and what Dwayne actually mentioned, and I didn't get a chance to finish. I hear the GM things. I hear the talk, and I see the chatter when people criticize other people for having opinions. One of the things that I want y'all to understand, that this is the Atlanta Bird game. I don't know if y'all see how many different people are in this group. We have thousands. And there are times that when there is news about one of our players, whether it be Felipe Franks all the way up to Matt Ryan, we're going to talk about it. People are going to have opinions about it. Now, if you're one of those people that don't want to hear anything about the Atlanta Falcons from January to September, there's a notification turn off that you can hit on your thing that can snooze all the comments. But in this group, you're going to be able to give your opinion, as long as it's not, vulgar or anything. We ain't trying to go into that. You give your opinion. We might not agree with your opinion, but then we can talk about it. I hate when people go into stupid opinions, because I just think people have different ways of thinking. But when we start talking about trades and talking about what we want to do, folks, there are thousands of opinions. Everybody's not going to think the same. So I'm piggybacking off of Tidy's thoughts just to say, folks, we gotta be able to have conversation. I talked about Eddie yesterday at length, Eddie Thompson, and Eddie is one of the most posting guys in the group. I agree with about 5.8% of what Eddie talks about, but I enjoy, and I've told Eddie on paper, and I've told him on live to say, but I enjoy the interaction with him sometimes because he's just trying to talk football, and more importantly, Atlanta Falcons football. If you don't want to do that, scroll to a different page, turn off your notification, and do that. We're going to keep the conversation going, whether you like it or not, because I think it's just healthy dialogue. And I'm sorry for taking up, Tidy. Go ahead, because I know you look like you want to say something there.
Oh no, I was listening to you intently. I wholeheartedly agree with you, man. Like, people, when we trending topic on, and not just local media but national media, like, we're gonna talk about it, y'all. Just like when the quarterback controversy was going on with the draft, I'm sorry, that's what we're gonna talk about. You know, if anybody gonna talk about it 23 out of 24 hours of a day, it's gonna be a Falcons based group. You know, it's a lot of people in this group, so people gonna have varying opinions and blase blahs. And you know, when people say, well, you know, I just can't wait for June 1st to get here so y'all can shut up, like, we're not gonna talk about it. You know, we're definitely not gonna tell people that you can't talk about is Julio gonna get traded. You know, that's what we're in here for, y'all. It's a Falcons group. And you know, just like you were saying about Eddie, me and Eddie debate all the time. I can't wait to get out of Facebook jail to spark up a debate with him.
I'll take it up for you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for a while I'm gone. And I know a lot of people get on Eddie about his content, but it's always football based. It's not only football based, it's always Falcons based. You know, and to a certain degree, when you have 3 straight losing seasons, some of that stuff add up. You know.
And right now, what are we going to talk about? We can't talk about playoffs. We can't talk about Pro Bowls. We can't talk about what we did on this 10-game winning streak. When that time comes, we're gonna be more fired up.
Right.
But until then, we're gonna talk Falcons. And if the biggest thing is talking about a 6th-round wide receiver from Arizona State, we got dog it. That's what we gonna talk about.
You know, I tell people all the time, if you want to talk about the NBA playoffs, the Atlanta Hawks, be my guest. You know, at least
absolutely. And that's one of the things I appreciate. Like I said, I like interaction from everybody, as long as you respectful and stuff like that. I have no problem with debating. I have no problem with listening. I have no problem with all of that. I understand it's the summertime. I understand that people are itching for football. I think we are 100, if I saw it right. I think we're 108 days. I think it's 108 days away from that Tampa game. So we got a little while to go. So y'all gonna have to bear with us a little bit, and we gonna keep it rolling. I did want to cap off at 2 hours, but first, before I go anywhere, I want to thank the young man on parole next to me for joining me during this excursion again. Between him and Marcus and Nick and Brian and stuff, man, I truly enjoy the interaction between us, and we listen and we watching y'all, man. We watching the stuff y'all put on there, and we trying to keep the talk going. We're not gonna ever try to discourage anybody from giving their opinions. Again, as long as we're not getting into all the ancillary negative stuff. And somebody got a picture of jail. You in jail? They got a picture, a little meme of somebody in jail.
That's me, man. Dang, y'all got some. Let me tell the ones that watching, y'all. I made a comment on our local news station here in Middle Georgia, and I called another commenter. I said that she's annoying as annoying goes, and they strike me for bullying. and they put me in Facebook jail. So I tried to be slick and be smart, and I created a backup profile, and they blocked the backup profile late last night. So put some money on my books, man. Free me, free me. Like, if y'all don't see me post, this is the only way I can get in the group to talk. You gotta try to trick the system, man. So they got me locked up, man. Y'all free me, man. Send me some money on my book, man. I don't get out to June 16th, so I got a long way to go. I got a long way to go.
Well, now that you got an avenue, brother, we go make sure we keep you in here. But again, seriously, I really appreciate you joining. This has been fun. It's been fun. Most fun I've had in a minute, man. Thank you so much for joining. Thank everybody else, man. Y'all, we keep the conversation going. If anything comes down officially with Julio, y'all know we're gonna be either out there posting or we'll be out there. I'll pop in live and see what's going on, man. Until then, I appreciate y'all watching. Hey, listen, don't forget, if y'all get a chance to, and I know we don't get into cross promotion stuff, man, but I'm gonna start doing live reaction videos on YouTube during the games this year. So I'm gonna do that, and then never forget my folks here in Atlanta Bird Gang. I know we all usually come on live after the games. If y'all get a chance, man, Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Hit a subscribe on there, man. We're gonna try to talk not only Falcons but Hawks. Dude, we got to talk about that Hawks game real quick, Toddy, while we on here. Dude, Trae Young, ice cold, man, ice cold.
That was a prime time play buzzer beater at the end of the game in Madison Square Garden. The entire world was watching. So welcome to the big leagues, Trae Young. Great job.
First playoff game, man.
Yes.
First playoff game. And you like the fact, and the one thing, the parallel between that and the Falcons, so I can try to keep Falcons so y'all don't whatever. But being able to finish. Think about how easy it could have been for us to give up that game when the Knicks went on that run and stretched it out to 9 points. But then you saw DeAndre hit a 3. My man Bogey is my unofficial key to this team. But he couldn't hit the side of a barn in the first half. But when we needed him down the stretch, Bogdanovic, he came up big time in the end. And to your point, man, Trae Young trying to show the world that he's ready to pick up the mantle for this Hawks team. I thought it was
Magic City Lou also, man. Really, he kept the team afloat when things were looking rough. So you got to shout out to Magic City. He's gonna be tossing some singles in the air in Magic City next time we get back that round.
And let me try to tell you, maybe the hoops look like them poles on the in the middle of that. But he did. Oh man, look. He doesn't score those points, and he also allowed Trae to rest. So when he did his 13, was it he ended up with 13? Whatever it was, and that was critical. That was critical. So again, shout out to our other local team, Atlanta Hawks, man. Listen, y'all have a great night. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining us, man. We'll catch y'all again in the Bird Gang. Until then, peace. Have a good one, y'all. My brother, I appreciate that, man.
Thanks for letting me come on, man.
Dude, we'll